Alright, so here's something a little different. So I entered the CB Gitty instrument building contest with that dulcimer that I just finished, but you know, obviously I've gotten a lot of parts from them, most of my parts over the years, and I'd never really built a cigar box guitar, and got really intrigued doing some more research, listening to people, and I say, you know what, I'm going to build one. So I used a piece of pine here, and then I did this cut down. Went ahead and put a Cocobolo fingerboard on it, and ended up getting a decent action on it. That was a bit tricky, but it turned out pretty decent, and I'm kind of impressed with you know, how resonant these instruments are. I mean, I've kind of been put off in the past thinking, oh, it won't sound that good, because really like the sound of the acoustic. I have it plugged in, of course, right now, because it is a small chambered instrument, but boy, really neat. Also learned something too. You know, this is a short scale. It's 22.5 inches, so he builds a 23 inch, and so I went ahead and put his tenor cigar box guitar gauges on it. I had some 44. This was supposed to be a 34, but it's actually a 32, and then I got a 24, and these are all wound bronze strings, so that's a lower end of your guitar. Of course, I went ahead and fretted it chromatically, which I think is good. Gives you some more options. One thing I opted for, though, is I went ahead and used a spruce top, and I think I'm going to keep building these, but I'm going to use wood for the top. I just think that you're going to get a better sound. I double checked because I thought the top was wood, but now the back is probably a piece of cedar. But, you know, I scratched it with a knife just to make sure before I got busy to string it up, and I realized, oh, it's not. So I went ahead and took the lid off and replaced it with a piece of spruce that I had. And through neck construction, and I actually glued some little blocks in and then screwed the neck down to the blocks. And I think I'm going to build it differently because I think that keeps it from vibrating as much. So yeah, neat stuff. Pretty simple. Obviously the neck is where the real I think action comes in as far as the build. You know, but so yeah, anything you can play on a dulcimer, you can play on this. You just, you know, have to hit the right frets. And then you use a heavier pick too. I was using a flexible, you know, one I normally use for dulcimer playing, which is pretty thin. Then these guys are doing this stuff with it. A lot of people will build it without frets and just use the slide on it, but so yeah, it's a pretty cool little pretty cool little instrument, you know. Kind of happy with the way it turned out. Relatively quick build. Like I said, the real effort went into the neck. You know, I did this cut down thing. I did use a piece of pine, which I regretted because it started to split out and I had to do a graft and rebuild. So I grafted on a piece of solid hardwood to get everything to work. So not without its issues, but you know. Let me play it unplugged for you real quick. So definitely subdued. You get a heavy gauge string and a pretty thick top on, which is not braced. It's just the smaller size of this box allows the the spruce enough stability. You know, the brace is actually the sides of the box, and then the spruce is relatively thick. So. And I hadn't intended on stringing it up with such heavy gauge strings, but I'm glad I did because I learned something in the process. So, Alright, so go over and check out Shane Spiel. He's the guy who's spearheading that video part of the contest, and he put up a video already of everyone's instruments, or at least a small portion of them, and they're fantastic. It's really neat to see all the creative things people have come up with, and man, it's such a a cool building community. So I'm pretty excited about having another outlet here and maybe learning to play the blues. Thanks for watching. Stay safe.